Okay, so we are in Lugano, Mr. Gheorghiu, and
Yes, we played against Frenkel. I think he was a Soviet player, but he was playing there. He invited and so. And the game was most interesting because we played a very modern line that time, trying to avoid the normal positions from King's Indian. Black is playing something else. But he can't avoid the special form from Zemish. You see, it was
favorite.
Very, very interesting. After Bishop f5, f3, this is the best way to play for white if you want to have an advantage. But it's very difficult. You don't win immediately. But the idea is very good with f3 because we are building a very strong center. Even if we lose a tempo in the opening here, you see, we give him the chance to take in d4, of course. White takes in d4, knight c6. Black, was, playing immediately knight c6. He was attacking the king. He was winning a tempo.
Yes.
But it's not important. The opening is always a little bit better for white. We'll see. So now b3, the best move. No?
Yes.
Now he was playing g6 to put the bishop in g7. No? Bishop b2, bishop g7. And now, again, very strong move. Knight g2. We try to control completely the center with this idea, not to put the knight in d4. The knight in d4 is a very big mistake. But knight in f4, and we control all the central squares, you see. And afterwards, after knight f4, bishop e2, and castle. Always a small advantage for white, but very clear. A small, but very clear. Okay, so he played knight there, knight f4, knight e5, bishop e2, castle, and knight c5, knight c5, castle, castle. Okay. Rook d1. Now we see the result. If you look at the position, black is okay. You can't say that black is much worse, But the advantage is very clear because of this control, We control the squares, and we have some attacking chances later on with the move f4. Not immediately, but later on, you see. If we can open the position, the advantage will be clear, you see. So, okay, now he has to try to find some counterplay. a5 is good, because in some position, we could also threaten b4, maybe, So a5 is all right. After a5, king h1 prepares the idea with f4 later, So he plays queen h4. It seems very, very logical and very sharp also.
Yeah.
But in reality, nothing happens. White is a little bit better in any position, of course. So knight d5, very simple now. So he has to move back because we wanted to take the pawn in c7, no? Decisive advantage. And now knight e3, f5. The only counter, because if he doesn't play f5, we play first f4 and then after knight d7, f5, decisive advantage, for white. So f5 is the only counterplay. So now g3. Now he has to move the queen. The queen in h6 is a little bit strange, a little bit artificial like this, no? So now we took in f5, he took with the pawn, f4. Okay. So what to do? Now here, knight d7, of course. No? And bishop f3 controls again the diagonal and the central squares, no? He has to put the knight in c5, no? And now, immediately here, knight d5. Okay, now we have time to trade the good bishop, and the advantage is small but clear, So he has to be very careful. He lost the tempo in the next moves, and that will be decisive. I took in b7. Rook f7, in my opinion, was a small mistake. It was a little bit better to play queen g7, and he has maybe a small chance to save the game, maybe after queen g7. After rook f7, white wins the tempo in attack, you see. And that will be a little bit too much. We'll see the continuation. And we start the attack, you see, here. So now if he takes in g4, it's a little bit too much because the position is completely open later on, and it's too much. If we can open completely the position and give finally a check in g1, is a very strong attack. So now he tries to trade some pieces and try to save the game, but it's a little bit too late, you see. Because we are not forced to trade queens, and we continue the attack, in any position. So, okay, we move the queen. knight e4, queen c2, very good again. Okay, it's probably winning for white, even if we take in e4 and f5. It's probably okay, maybe enough.
F5 after?
Yes, okay. I mean, the attack is very strong, and he has a very bad weakness in e4. If white wins the pawn in e4, it's finished. The attack is also very strong after f5, f6. Okay, probably winning also. But like this is even better. The attack continues. Okay, I took in d5, and he played king f8, trying to escape with the king. But we'll see. The attack is very, very strong and very quick. You see. Now we took in g5, in f5. Knight, it's impossible to resist here. We'll see. Knight here. Now we come to decisive part of the game. Queen, rook g1, king h8 has to control the diagonal. If he gives the diagonal, it's even worse. If he played, for instance, queen h6 after queen c3, he resigns because one check in h8 is made.
Yeah.
So queen h8, the only move. And now rook g5. We want to double the rooks. And c6, and now we give the piece for attack. Rook g1, of course, first. He has to take in d5. Now look at the position. Bishop takes in d5. He can't move the rook because he loses the queen.
Yeah.
Knight b4, the only hope. And now decisive queen g2, triple.
Yeah.
Now we come to g8 and we win the queen by force. And he has a very small chance to make a draw, but in reality the game is over. The game is completely winning for white. First, check, king e7, and we took in h8, he took in h8, queen takes. Now the only move is rook f8, no? What else?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And now we change the plan, rook e1 check, king d7, decisive queen is rook e6. If we don't have rook e6, it's difficult. If he has time to take in f5, he can maybe save the game. But after rook e6 is finished, because he can't take in e6, he loses the rook now afterwards with check. Pawn takes e6 check and takes the rook. No? He has to play like in our game, takes in f5, queen takes, king c8, rook e7, threatens mate in c6. No?
Yes.
The only move, knight a6, queen d7, check and mate.
Yes.
The only move is knight a6. Otherwise,
yeah,
mate
he
in
resigned
one.
here.
He resigned because he's mate in one move. Yeah.
So
Queen d7 check, king b8, queen takes b7 mate.
Yeah.
Very beautiful, and everything was forced, you see.
Yeah.
Very strong attack immediately in a few moves like this. Because of the good position, after the opening. You had advantage, you have control of all the central squares, and therefore everything was possible, like in our game. It was a mix from strategy and tactical play, you see. But beautiful, very beautiful.
Yes, yes. It's a beauty prize.
Beauty prize, yeah. But it was right,
Deserve it.
The game was very beautiful. Yes.
True.
And he didn't play badly, he played very well, but he tried to defend a very difficult position. But in reality, the position was lost for black from one moment, not immediately, but later on, When we started the big combinations and so on, it's clearly that white is winning,
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Gheorghiu.
Yeah.